That's what we're going to call her. And this is the most serious I've ever seen her in all the times we've crossed paths. She's an absolute bar table legend in these parts, and she went to great lengths to track me down, which I found quite flattering. But flattering people is what she does very, very, very well. And I'm not necessarily certain that I bought into 100% of the story. She wanted to talk. She didn't want to play pool. She wanted to talk to me. And she didn't want to be on camera, so I understand and respect that, so I did not really put her on camera. Mary was coming to a wall in her pool playing journey and hitting a crossroads and not really knowing where to go from here. And this happens to a lot of people, but it's especially hard for her. And there's reasons, and we'll get into them a little bit. Now older and now wiser, her main problem is eventually the same cows that you're milking every day run out of milk or just cut off your milk supply. And you're left with options. You can sit in one of your network bars and wait for a new cow to waltz in, which is probably not going to happen. And even if it does happen, one of the players that you beat yesterday is going to tell the new guy not to play you, and that's a knocker, and there's nothing worse in the pool scene. But what usually happens is you go out one night to your favorite bar, and that's where you start. You can't get any action, so you run to another one, and you can't get any action there either. So you keep on running from bar to bar to bar, and there's no action. Nobody wants to gamble with you. One of Mary's biggest problems is she insists on staying in the rural scene, 20, 40 miles outside of Knoxville, right in that region right there. But she has been seen in Knoxville down on the University of Tennessee Strip, where there used to be a lot of bar action, but they cracked down on it. It's just not the same. Mary needs the rural bar scene because it's part of how she works. It's what she needs to get action. She plays off the egos of these wannabe cowboys that live on farms and stuff, and really, really, she's good at it. I've seen her in action, and she's incredible. She's always laughing, and it's the kind of hustle that can have you giving up your money and being happy about it at the same time. And she's that good. And part of that is because she's female. But that also can play against you nowadays as the bars are getting crazy. And the main big problem she has is that she's black. So intolerance is becoming a huge thing in this part of the United States of America. It's it's really becoming a problem for her. Mary and I sat and talked for about 3 hours before she had to go. But I'm just giving you the outline of what happened, and at the end of this video, I will continue this story and tell you. For now, we have a YouTube video to make that has nothing to do with a woman named Mary. I think a lot of really great players hurt themselves a lot by trying to be perfect, and then when they're not perfect, they start beating themselves up, which destroys their confidence, and their game just slowly starts going to hell. An even worse issue than that is that you're reducing your margin of error and you're forcing yourself to be perfect, and it's either perfect or nothing. There's some that can play. If we take a look at the table layout that's about to come up, how are we getting from the 1 to the 2, and where do you want to be on the 2? And let's look at that answer. We want to be right about here. So anywhere in that space is good, and you're just fine. You can handle that, right? Just a little bit of bottom left on the cue ball to shoot the 1 and pull it back to this space for the 2 ball. So can you get from that space on the 2 ball to this space on the 3 ball? And this is a good example of where players go wrong. Everybody wants to be a foot away from the object ball, so they'll try to get here, which greatly reduces your margin of error when you can get anywhere in this shape that you can get, and you'll be just fine. Can you get from this red 3-ball shape to this purple 4-ball shape? Sure you can. I knew you could. So you're going at the game with nervous energy and thinking that pool is real hard, and your brain is going to process that. You know what it's going to do? It's going to make it hard for you. So there's that kind of self-fulfilling prophecy there. We need to get you relaxed, but not too relaxed. You don't want to be sloppy, but relaxed enough to where you can be confident. Can you get from the purple shape to the orange shape? It's not going to be a problem, is it? Can you get from the 5-ball shape to the 6-ball shape? And on the 6-ball, you could be on the other side of it in roughly the same place. But you want to be either straight in or on the left side of this oval here, because if you get on the right side, you're going to have some work to do to get on that 7-ball. Can you get from this green shape to this maroon shape? And here's the 7 to the 8. And can you get from this 8-ball position to the 9-ball? Or if need be, we could be on the other side like this over here. So whatever floats your boat. Can you do that? I think you can. impression here and say you shouldn't know exactly what's perfect. You should. I mean, you should pinpoint a position, but you should also know the odds of getting perfect on the next ball. And you should also understand your margin of error. And you should understand if it's worth the risk of trying to get perfect when a little bit less than perfect will do. Don't let perfection be the enemy of good enough. And in this next game, the 5 ball went on the break and I didn't realize it, so I didn't throw it back out on the table. And also in this game, I get in trouble on the 4 ball. I get out of the zone that I need to be in, and I really limit my options on going from the 4 to the 6, and I wind up in big trouble on the 6 ball too. So yeah, this one's quite sloppy, and it could have been a whole lot better, but you'll see what happens. So, can you make the 1 and get on the 2 ball? And here's where you need to be on the 2. Can you get from the 2 to the 3? And can you get from the 3 to the 4? And that's where I make my mistake here. And I get really bad, and I get all the way down here, which makes it impossible to get to the position that you should be on the 6 ball. And and then I get really, because of that bad position on the 4, I get really bad on the 6 ball and really, really have to pull out a great shot on the 6 to get on the 7. And that's when I got back in line, and all was well after that. But it's actually all started on the 3 ball when I get bad on the 3, and you'll see. It kind of, the typical 9-ball train wreck occurred. And yeah, it's probably a case of being a little too relaxed, and like we talked about. And so there's a line in there between too relaxed and too uptight. And in these cases, you just have to keep your head and keep your calm and keep your nerve. And just remind yourself that you can do this, because you can do this. So this is where I have to get on the 6 ball. And even if I get there, it's a tester on that 6 ball. To make matters worse, I get outside that region and wind up on the top rail and almost straight in. Yeah. And here's where we should have got on the 6 ball. We would have got if we got the right position on the 4 ball. But that just didn't happen. So can we get from that 6 to the 7? That's the next question. And we'll see what happens. And can I get from that 7-ball position to the 8-ball? And can I get from that 8-ball position to the 9-ball? There's a Christmas sale on likes just for you. In fact, I'm going to make them free just today. I'm going to run a 2-pack here, but I'm not going to commentate on it. And then we're going to end with a woman named Mary, a continuation of that story. And then we're going to close it out. Thank you guys for coming by. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Mary doesn't really respond. She just lets me she just kind of looks at me and waits for me to continue because she knows that there's a point that I'm going to be getting to soon. At this point, I told her to hang here a second, and I went up to the counter and got a notepad and a pen, and then I came back and wrote down the title. And then I handed it to her, and I told her when she got home to get on her iPhone and go to YouTube and start a YouTube channel named the title that I had just written down. At this point, she started laughing, and let me tell you, when this woman laughs, she laughs. I made her promise me that she'd give us some serious thought and meet me back here on Tuesday night. We'll just take it from there and see what happens. I think it's an excellent idea, and I think you guys are really, really going to get a kick out of this.